Well, Marlene, thanks for making the edits to the article. I thought it sounded
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah, thanks. I have Sue Ellen sent me some this morning that I want to verify, and part of me, I want to make sure everything in there. We should go through it a lot. I want to just make sure it's not incorrect anywhere. I didn't want to say anything weird. So
I have a couple of verbal ones. Since I'm not real computer literate, and my secretary wasn't around today.
Your secretary wasn't around?
She was doing something. She was putting an order away.
Okay, well, let's
As
start
was
with
I.
that article, and Harry, go ahead.
Okay, down in the middle where it says the reservoir zone and operated by the Hoyok Waterworks.
Yeah.
And it goes on to say controlled by the Waterworks Board of Directors. Wouldn't be commissioners be more?
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah, Board of Commissioners. Is it Board?
Yes.
Yeah.
Board of Commissioners. Okay.
Okay.
Let me get to 8-9.
Paragraph 4, second sentence.
1, 2, 3. Board of Commissioners, got it.
Okay, and it's professional staff. And then there's a couple other things. Maybe one you're going to leave the way it is, but I've got something that maybe make it simpler. The reservoir serves an important backup water source. City Hoyok was not current use. Fine. For the next sentence, its contents are non-potable, meaning that water is not available for drinking. But if we cross that out and just put there is no treatment system currently linked to the Whiting Street Reservoir, however, yada, yada, yada. I don't know if we need that non-potable thing in there. It's offline, and offline's offline, and which leads to the next sentence with reservoirs taken. You've got online. It should be offline.
Offline.
Offline, yep. Not online.
Offline. See, that's the thing. I wanted to make sure I didn't mess up all these things.
And I may be wrong on this one here. On the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the 6th paragraph, actually the paragraph next to last, where it says the reservoir is part of collection of studying resources within the city. When you get down in the middle, when you're the stakeholders, including trustees of reservations and the States Department.
Yeah, it should be the Commonwealths.
Oh, okay, Commonwealth is better. Yeah, okay.
Or just Massachusetts. I would just put Massachusetts Department of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do Massachusetts Department of Conservation.
Okay, that's all I got.
I agree on the potable. We talked about that today.
Okay, so how do we want that?
I think the way he did it, I just take out potable in my opinion, because it's going to it's going to open, in my opinion, a public hearing. It's going to open up people to say, well, Christ, you can't drink it, so why can't we speedboat them?
Okay.
Just
so
take that first part of that sentence out of there. Its contents are non-potable, meaning the water is not available for drinking sense, and just cross that right out and just put, after that, keep going with there is no treatment facility currently.
Right, you could simply start with no treatment system currently linked.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That makes it simple for everybody, I think. And
yes, that's good.
You're not people aren't reading into it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
That's terrific. Good work too, all of it.
Okay. Yeah. You did a great job, Marlene.
Okay, thanks. So there was a sentence that Kay wanted to know if we should leave in. Reservoir serves as an important backup water source for the city, but not in current use. Leave that in or take that out?
Take out not in current use.
Okay.
And then you're fine. It serves as an important.
Backup.
Agreed.
Okay.
Right, I agree with that. That's a good,
Yep.
yeah, because it's still, because we're saying it's backup. It's a backup
Yeah.
source.
Right.
Still a city reservoir.
And while we're in that paragraph, the second to last sentence where you say, for example, I think I would just say the reservoir was taken online instead of saying, for example, this. I think I would just say the reservoir was taken online in the 19.
Offline.
Offline.
Well, it's online. It was brought online
Okay.
right? It was brought on, and probably you should say that the reservoir was brought online in the 1990s when a news service was laid, right? Is that true or untrue?
Offline.
So,
It's offline.
it was in use at that time and
Was
then
in
was
use
taken.
until,
Okay, so I misunderstood that
Okay.
completely.
and when the new service came into the in-town reservoir, they just stopped the Whiting Street Reservoir.
So
Okay.
that's even more important to say, for example, get rid of the
Yeah.
for example. So just
Yeah,
say the
so this
reservoir
road
was taken
taken
offline.
offline in the 1990s when news service was laid from Tyke Carmody.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I didn't have the exact date on there, so I just kind of winged that one.
No, I think that's just fine.
do we want to leave in the issues here, not leave them in? I didn't know. Or
I'm
just
sorry,
say,
live in what?
what, do we want to leave in the list of issues here or not?
Oh. Oh, I see.
It would need a little bit, probably more introduction if we're gonna
Yeah.
have that. It gives people a heads up on what we're thinking and what we're talking about. So I personally think we ought to try to include that because the rest of the stuff isn't news. It's only history, right? It doesn't, it
Right.
doesn't really say what we've done at all. We just said, hey, so I personally think we ought to figure out a way to address that, but it's not, it's a little clumsy
Yeah,
right
I mean, we
now. And
could,
again, I didn't, I
Yeah.
sent the comments to you quickly, so
Yeah,
that
Kate-
night. So
yeah, Kate just just put it in from the slide. So Kate dropped it in, so how we could, how
I
could
think I
maybe-
think I did that. Maybe Kate did it
Oh,
too,
Kate
but
did, yeah. So just to say, some of the issues have already come up, and so instead of saying issues, just say, some ideas that have already been presented include, or something like that.
so what do folks think? How does it read as a list? I mean, I agree we can come up with a better intro.
Yeah,
I think it's the most important part of the article, really, because what we're doing with this article essentially is to invite people to come to the public meetings and to talk about concerns such as those already presented by the abutting and neighborhood landowners and managers. And these include, and then I just run the list, but I wouldn't do it as PowerPoints. I would just do them one by one as you would do any list that you were writing out. For instance, the Boys and Girls Club teaches responsibility, teamwork, and personal ethics. Responsibility, comma, teamwork, and possible ethics, period. I mean, and if we
Well-
had to go to semicolons, because some of those thoughts have commas in them, then it would be idea, semicolon, idea, semicolon, idea, semicolon, till you got to the end, and then it would be and police protection, or whatever it is.
do we want to refer to them as issues or refer to it as something else?
Concerns voiced by
Aren't they more ideas?
Well,
no,
some are issues.
major concerns.
How about
Right,
ideas
so-
and concerns?
Well,
Yes.
some are some. Yeah, some. I
Some
mean,
are-
some are issues. Some are. So far, I think issues though is most accurate. I would rather have another word.
About issues and concerns.
Just looking.
Concerns, how about just concerns?
You, you know, Marlene, I mean, I did pull this list
Yeah.
off the slides, but I changed the beginnings of a lot of these to try to make it, you know, them
More listy?
consistent. Well, no, just consistent. So they were all,
Yeah.
you know, they all sounded like they were an issue instead of,
When you
Right.
went for something we grammatists call parallel construction.
exactly. Well, believe me, if you're looking for a grammaticist, I am not it. So
Yep, I'm with you.
Grammarian's the right word. Every once in a while, they finally, after I bungle around, pop into my skull.
Maybe like, I think Jeff mentioned that just an introductory sentence before that to kind of bring up what's following. But I don't know.
yeah, and I also think it's fair to, you know, if you mention where they came from, you know, the issues have come from a number of places, and some of these have come from us, you know, and I don't think it's unfair to say that, but you know, certainly it's the, you know, the adjacent, you know, the landowners, the
Abutters.
yeah, the abutters. And is it better to say stakeholder? You know, do we want to say stakeholders?
I don't like that word. It just means.
Yeah. Yep.
Abutters, neighbors.
I'd use both.
Yeah, neighbor's a friendly word. Yeah.
Yep. Neighbors is a good word.
Neighbors certainly sounds more collegial.
Right. A butter sounds like a legal.
Yeah.
Or we have come up with this along with the neighbors and the butters or whatever.
Yeah, neighbors. Let's just use neighbors.
Yeah, we and the neighbors, probably.
How about neighbors and adjacent landowners?
How
And
about just
the
neighbors?
committee.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, true.
Have we, and we really haven't had any public, would you say we've had public input at this point? I mean, it's been
With the
pretty limited.
Very minor.
with the abutters, they're
Yeah, I would leave that out because what we're trying to do here is publicize our public meetings.
Right.
And everybody so far has been invited to a meeting. So they haven't really, although they've been available to anybody who wanted to sit in and watch, they haven't been public meetings where the public could really participate. So I think I would just stick with what we're looking for is public input now with meetings that will be held, da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
I would like to keep it very simple, non-confusing, and
Right.
not open anything up for somebody to complain about.
Well, we can complain as well as anybody. So,
Yeah, well, we can complain to each other, but
Exactly.
so do others have comments? I wanted to send I wanted to send mine earlier to Marlene,
no.
but
Yeah.
so, I mean, I did early, but of course, you know, after I read the draft, I always
Yeah.
have
So what
a
I'll
few
do is I'll take another crack at it in the morning and send it out again.
Yeah,
Okay.
please.
It's
Please.
not done. It's not
Well,
done yet.
Okay.
It's
Well,
just
do you want to add a couple comments here and just see how people like them? So,
Sure.
so just in the first paragraph at the very end where it says, you know, the sentence reads the city of. So I'm thinking about what Sue Ellen just said. You know, the whole purpose of this is to invite people. So
right.
the second sentence in the first paragraph says the city of Holyoke through its Whiting Street Reservoir Committee is collecting public input on future uses and protections for the Jewel of Holyoke and the surrounding areas, and you are invited.
Perfect.
You know, how does that sound? I mean, to add that, and you are invited.
And you are invited.
And that gives
Just-
you right in the first paragraph.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to draw them in.
Yep,
That sounds good.
yep.
And then I noticed that we didn't have revenues in that second paragraph. We did, and revenues seem to be pretty important to folks. We talk about costs. So at any rate, in the second paragraph, first of all, on the second line, you're talking about the council and you say input to them. I would say input to the council. You've already said Holyoke City Council, but I would say input to the council instead
Okay.
of them.
Yeah, got it.
And then I would add in the next line where you said opportunities for expanded use. I would say, and again, Marlene, at the end of the day, you're writing this, so you get to choose whether you like these things or not. Honestly, you've got the skin in there.
I
So
have no pride of personal ownership here.
well, but at some
Put
point,
that in.
so it says opportunities for expanded use, comma, I would say potential revenue opportunities. That gets that revenue issue in there. So I would add
If you're
potential
doing
revenue opportunities.
Possible potential.
Well, possible is the same as potential. I'll just
Not-
suggest it's redundant.
What
Not
paragraph?
really.
Paragraph you went to?
You can borrow bother Marlene later and change it.
What paragraph you guys in here?
I'm still on the second. We're way up
And
there.
You guys don't even know what I put.
And no, you can put anything you want, as I said. And then I would say, again, in that same line, after you say, and ensuring reasonable environmental considerations, I would say protections instead of considerations, because that's what we were really talking about, to make sure the reservoir is protected.
Yeah, okay.
So I would exchange that. And then I don't really have anything else, except I think I would say all the way down in the 7th paragraph where you're talking about the beginning, we've been working since the beginning of the year. I think I would say just 2021, beginning of 2021, even though we know we started it in December. But that's a minor detail.
Okay.
When we finish it, when it's done, if you want, my wife's a crackerjack at grammar and everything else. She's a professional writer.
Yay, yay.
She loves the reservoir.
Thank you for volunteering her.
Well, it has no pointing, any fingers at you. I'm with Jeff. You've carried the mail here. So
Yeah.
Whatever you say, we do.
Hey, I had another question, and it's the unusualness of the name Whiting Street. And so when you have that, when it first hits you in paragraph number 3, it's just weird. We know it because we're used to it now, but most people are not. And so I wonder if we just said for both of the names we use in that first sentence, we have John Delaney's name there and we have Whiting Street. I wonder if we said, it sounds formal, but to say by Mr. Whiting Street and was developed by Mr. John Delaney, then we don't have to use it beyond that. But it just,
You know what? I think that's a great idea because I think a lot of people have no idea
Yeah,
that Whiting Street is the name of a person.
You're exactly right.
yeah, I just think there will be less confusion
Yep, I agree.
if you do that. And then you don't have to continue using that. There's other names in here, but not very many, and they occur
Yeah.
later. And so I
That's a
don't
good
think
point.
I
That's
don't
a-
think it takes
that's a-
away from anything.
That's a
Yeah.
great point because I think
Listen.
people just have no clue.
They have no clue that there was such a person. And
Right.
that's easy way to resolve, because it's great history, Marlene. What
Yeah, I mean, they're
you've
like,
got.
where's Whiting Street?
Exactly.
And what's
Now
the
it's-
address?
And when I watched the Sierra Club did an interview with some of the mayoral candidates, and I think it was Rebecca Lisi was referring to it as the Whiting Farms Reservoir. I was like,
Oh,
no,
Well,
I'm so confused.
That's our next
Uh,
project.
You ladies and gentlemen. I didn't say that, wasn't me.
Yeah, when we were kids growing up and going around the reservoir, you know, we didn't know there was such a person as Whiting Street either. I
No.
mean, to us, it sounded like, you know, Whiting, and it's named after the street somewhere,
Right.
yeah.
which would,
I used to have to
maybe
deal
part
with
of
Mr.
Reservoir.
Garvey from the newspaper.
yeah,
And Mr. Garvey knew about everything.
Did indeed.
the name out of the past.
Well, good things you guys absorbed all that.
Yeah, he was great. So I
We
beat him to Whiting Street.
Fine. Well,
All
I have a
right.
friend named Jill Street, who is a descendant of the Whiting Street family, and otherwise I would never have known.
Yeah. I think she should be Jill Whiting Street.
She should come. If she's
Right.
around, she should come.
She's really Jill Street Lacey, if the truth be known. Okay, we're all set on this?
Yep, I'll take
Yes.
another stab and send it around
Okay,
tomorrow.
And send it to Dave.
Okay,
Sue Ellen, you're on mute. Oh, she's got it.
She's a busy lady.
She is a
don't-
busy lady.
So hey, it looked nice with having the pictures in the presentation.
Oh, good.
You know,
the whole
so
presentation looks really nice.
Oh,
Really
thanks.
nice.
I got a really nice picture this morning that.
I saw the
Albert-
heron.
Albert
Yeah.
forwarded along, so.
He's up there all the time. I saw him the 2 days before. He's over in the corner on the way to the ski area access.
Yeah,
I
I
see him in that corner all the time.
yeah, I see that as well.
They're gonna make you guys start paying rent
Karen's,
revenues.
Revenues, please.
They're in revenue.
Mr. Horan.
only if I can pay to the Heron. Okay, so that's under control. The PowerPoint is under control. I had a note from Kip. We can have an outdoor setting for either one of the meetings, either the 29th or wait, I wrote it down, I can't find it,
29th and the 5th, right? I
and
think.
the 5th at the golf course.
That would be great because if it's bad weather, they still have that huge banquet hall upstairs. It's empty.
Yep, yeah, and we could certainly be separated by a great deal.
Yeah.
So anyway, what we now have to do is decide which date we're going to try to have a Zoom meeting and which date we're going to have the outdoor meeting.
Would one, I'm just have a question, would one be more advantageous to have first? I mean, as far as the smoothness or the,
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Harry. In my personal view, although, yeah, I think it would be easier to have the Zoom meeting first because we're all pretty used to that. And I think for the presentation and all to get that set, you know, I think it would be easier to do the you know, the first run. Even though, you know, logic also says, well, it probably will be a little warmer on September 29th, but either one should be nice. So I just think that my personal view is I would suggest the virtual first.
Me too. And then if it's poorly attended, it gives chance for people who did attend to persuade people to come to the next one.
Right. I have a question on the PowerPoint. Sue Ellen, you and I had talked about me getting it translated into Spanish.
Yeah,
I still need to do that. So I was going to get in touch with that person from Terry Murphy's office.
yeah, that would be Nilka Ortiz.
Okay.
And if you can't reach her for any reason, I have another contact at the community college.
Okay.
And so how would, I mean, is it going to be on the same slide? Is it
I don't
gonna
know
be-
how we do, yeah,
I would say the best way to do it would be to have two screens and have it presented in parallel. You know, a split screen with English on one side and Spanish on the other.
could we talk to whoever the media person is? That,
I would have to, because I have no idea how.
I wouldn't know how, I wouldn't have a clue how to do that.
But well, not only that, but if you have this outdoors, you're going to lose the present. You're going to lose all that stuff. You know, you don't know what the light's going to be like. You don't know. I would consult with an expert. Can you be in the shade? Can you have a cover over? Can they? Because no one might be able to see it outdoors.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to figure out like, I mean, actually for outside, are we gonna want like a projector or somehow to project it on a screen somehow here?
We need someone high tech, we need a little rehearsal at Wyckoff to see where they want to put us and to see whether it even works.
That makes sense to me.
Okay,
So-
does anybody know anybody who can do this sort of thing?
I can ask some questions.
Not first.
Let me ask some questions. I think I know someone.
Okay, I don't have a guy.
It's
Me
'cause it's got-
neither.
and it's got to be directed from a laptop to the devices and
Yeah, but
way,
yeah,
back-
we're
way
gonna,
past. It's not hard. We're just way past us. So I have
Yeah.
a thought.
we'll need a screen or something to project it or,
Right,
I
we'll need a
think the-
screen and a projector, right?
Well, I think the audio, the visual people come with a couple of large screen TVs and they're clued in to the program in the computer.
I mean, wouldn't you
Is-
think the city council has like such a setup and that person would help us?
Yes, that's just what I
Yeah.
think.
I wonder about the public access channel, you know? I don't know.
I don't know about it. I don't know enough.
No clue.
Yeah, me neither.
I know less.
No,
I can-
I would say I know the least amount of anybody on this.
I
Well,
don't-
why can't one of us, and I'll volunteer if you want, talk to Terry Murphy and say we're clueless. Who's going to help us?
Sue Ellen, could you do that or you want us to do, someone else to do that?
Jerry?
Yeah,
I suppose I could. I would be more inclined to talk to Jeff and see what he knows.
Jeff Anderson Burgos, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's a good idea.
And if he doesn't have any clue, then I would go to Scott perhaps. But Dave, did you say you thought you knew somebody?
Yeah, I would just retrace back through some video people that I know and who must be way ahead of the curve and see what they say.
Well, why don't you do that and then let
Yeah,
me. And
give me
we
a couple
can
of
have
days.
quick Conference
okay.
okay.
and go from there. I had thought frankly that we would use City Hall and then I felt like I was being overturned when we had our last meeting. Because if we'd had this at City Hall, all of this equipment's down there.
Well, if that's what we find out, that's where we'll have it.
And we may
Because otherwise,
need
if,
to do that.
okay, if we
rather
need
than-
to,
Then
Right,
move
if we
all
need-
of this stuff.
if we need a lot of help and a lot of electronics, we'll have to pay for it. So let me see what I can do.
Okay.
No,
And I know that Kip got a batch of posters to Elbert. And they had to have the dates and places added to them. So we can have the date and place for the first meeting, which will be Zoom, and listed on the city website as to how to get into the meeting. I will have to be extremely careful how we set up this Zoom thing because every time I turn around, Zoom plays another funny game with
Yeah,
what I set up. I know I set this up for 5 p.m. and some of you got AM. Who knows?
Yep.
And sometimes it doesn't go through with a date or a time at all. And I'm not the only one this happens to. I've talked to a couple other people in a professional situation who've had the same problems. So it's Zoom, and I will be careful.
That
Or
would
a
cause a,
contact. If
that would cause,
also was concerned about a contact for people to call about the meetings, and if it's all right with everybody, because this is essentially a city council committee, I thought we would ask Jeff Anderson Burgos to take phone calls. Is that all right?
Sure.
Okay. And then I don't think I've really got anything else.
I have Mr. Conti, I had, as I sent you an email when I went to Michigan, he's had no problem with the poster as long as, and I said I'd give him a proof. I did, and he's fine with it. He responded last week. He's fine with it, and he's quite interested. He said it's going to be very interesting what the public has to say.
Yep.
So I've just got to I'll just remind him whenever we're having the public, maybe he'd want to tune in. I'm sure he wouldn't come, but at least he might be aware of it because he's all for the posters.
I offered, when I was talking to him about some of the language in the PowerPoint presentation, I offered to let him see the presentation. He didn't want to see it in advance, but he said, I'm going to be interested and I want to
Oh, yeah.
hear what the public has to say. So I'm
Yeah,
going to
that's
be
great.
in
That's
attendance.
great. That's a good attitude. That's wonderful.
Well, then we'll all have to remember to send him minutes of these 2 meetings.
Got it. By the way, the other thing was on the legal reference. He didn't know anything about it. I used a friend of mine who works in the registry, has for 35 years, and is no one better and couldn't find it. Suggested to send me up to Hampshire County. I did that once because Smith's Ferry used to be part of, that part used to be part of Northampton once, just in case. They didn't have it. They suggested I go to UMass Archives, and that's when I quit.
Okay, I did make a phone call to Dave Conti about that because it suddenly occurred to me that our city forefathers back in the 1850s, when they were putting Holyoke together and our wonderful reservoir system together, might have purchased all the land and recorded it all at once. So Whiting Street Reservoir could be recorded with Ashley, with Ty Carmody. We don't know, but I suggested that he might go back to the original records and see if it had been recorded with Ty Carmody or with one of the other reservoirs. And I did leave him the message with a don't bother to call me back.
Good, because
But it just suddenly hit me.
Yeah.
This might be another way to check it.
But for sure, the unnamed Madam X that helps me out at the registry is the most best digger you ever met, and she couldn't find it. Okay,
Yeah, well, then it just isn't there like that.
it isn't there, right?
So we've got to see if we can find it, sitting out in plain view, staring at us.
Probably.
Probably where it is.
Well, she looked at the takings of 91, everything imaginable, and couldn't find it. It is a great mystery, but only if I have to will I go to the UMass Archives. Okay.
Well, let's see if anything is followed up from the phone call. I don't know.
Okay.
Do we have anything else we need to talk about at this point?
oh yeah, am I doing minutes? Who's doing the minutes? Who's doing the minutes?
Next time, I took your place.
Yeah, am I doing the minutes?
Yeah,
Next time,
Okay,
When do we meet next?
well, that's the next question. What do you think? Do we meet
Well,
next
so
Tuesday?
so what we have to do is make sure we're set on time, place, media and all that stuff. So, 2 weeks? Would that give us enough time to figure all that stuff out?
Well, how about the first Tuesday in September?
Yes.
Which if I open my
Sixth,
calendar,
sixth.
It's
I
not
think
the
it's the
7th?
7th. Yeah, I think
It's
it's
the
the
7th.
7th. That is the day,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, I'm looking at-
After Labor Day.
yeah, day after Labor Day.
yeah, you want to do that?
I'm fine with that.
Good.
Okay. In the meantime, I would ask a great favor of everyone. Simply because I just don't have this information and I find it sometimes makes life difficult. For some strange reason, I don't have everybody's phone number. Jeff, what's yours?
Okay, you ready? 413 923 1470. That's my cell, and that's the best number to get me.
Okay. Marlene?
I'm gonna give you my cell also, 413
Yeah,
537 5362.
should I have any other number?
And give you my home number,
Okay,
413 534 1461.
14661. Harry, I know the store. What's your home number?
536-7459. I don't have a cell.
Okay, Dave?
Secretary does.
433 0868.
0868. Any other number I should
No,
know?
that's all I use.
Okay. That's a good start because there've been times when I wanted to make a phone call and I couldn't. Does somebody have a number for Kip?
Yep, I'll give it to you. I have it. I'll have to look it up. My phone's charged, okay?
Okay.
I'll
Numbers for Kate.
I'll email you Kip's phone number.
You want
Okay.
Albert? You want Albert's phone number?
Great idea.
I got it somewhere. Here we go. His home phone number is 532-4464. And his cell, if you want to sell, 563-5571.
Okay. I mean, you know, I should have asked for these about 6 months ago. Anything else we need to do right now? Okay, so we know the first meeting is going to be Zoom. It's going to be September 29th.
We have a time? We have a time?
Well, that was my next question.
Okay.
Jeff had said he'd prefer to start at 6.
I don't care. 5 or 6 is fine, but I actually think we should have them both at the same time. We talked about
Yes.
different meetings. I think it's just confusing if we do that.
Well, what would you prefer? Would you like 6?
I really don't care.
I think that, I hate to say it, but you probably should make it 6 so people can say I couldn't get to it or I couldn't attend it.
Yep, I think 6 is better.
Yeah, just so we don't have to dodge questions about why it was so early.
Okay, Marlene, you can get this into the article.
Yep.
What's the second date?
October 5th.
Okay, and that's in person.
We think.
Okay, we think, right.
Right.
Before we set that one in stone, we
Yep.
want to double check the media information we'll need.
Yeah.
For outdoors and possible having to change it to indoors.
Yep.
So the only one we can set in stone so far is September 29th.
And what about Dave Mattson? Anything
I
gonna
haven't
happen?
heard back from him. I will
Okay.
email him and let him know that the first meeting will be the 29th of September.
Okay.
I'll take a stab at the article over the next few days, send it out again, make sure I covered all of everybody's comments.
And then when you say the word, I'll have Carol take a look at it.
Okay.
Not just for content, okay?
Okay, now, just as an interesting point, any of you, when you're reading a book, flip to the end and read all the thank yous from the author?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes.
I am asking this mainly because I can see, listening tonight and knowing what I sent to Marlene, why they thank so many people for the help in getting a book written.
Exactly.
This is just a love letter.
Never thought it was really necessary. But thank you, everybody. This article, I think, is going to be marvelous and should get us what we need.
Yeah, based
Fingers
upon-
crossed.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Way
everybody.
to go, Marlene.
Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so the
Night.
next
Night, folks.
will be the 6th.
I'll do my best.
No,
in
no,
minutes.
What
September 7th.
September 7th.
September 7th. But that one will be at 5.
Not 5 a.m.
Not
Right.
5 a.m.
Not 5 a.m. if I've got anything to do with it.
Night, folks.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Night,
Thanks,
all.
Marlene.
Be
Thanks.
well.